Okay, guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. All right, guys, I'm back. It is Friday, October the 9th, and it is 10:04 p.m. Eastern Time. Well, we're going to get into the news. Xander and I don't know what news Xander's going to bring you, but it probably is cat-related. Anyway, let's get into it and go over here. And I do have some people to thank. Also, I want to let you guys know that I've picked up a sponsor for the program, and I'll be talking about that tomorrow and who it is. Actually, you probably already know it's Rafa Rub, and phenomenal product. I use it myself. It is really good stuff, but I'm going to be talking about that more in depth tomorrow and how you can get 15% off of their products. So, all right. Let's get started though, but first I have a few people to thank. Clash Ganny, which is a very interesting name. The following, they donated via coffee. Juanita, Sagan's Run Ranch. Now Sagan's Run, my gosh, has been here since the beginning. Sherry Standiford, Rebel, and Anon. Thank you guys so much. It helps me do what I do, and I appreciate it very much. Also, snail mail. Love getting snail mail. Brenda Z from Colorado, she sent a lovely note and donation. And Jill from Montreal, Quebec, which that's phenomenal. I didn't know that I had any listeners in Quebec anyway. And she sent a note, long letter, a great letter, and donation. Thank you so much. And Laura R. from Ohio sent, actually, I think it's Laura R. from Ohio that had the long letter. But anyway, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. And let's get into the news now because, my gosh, things are happening. And the left is going absolutely crazy, literally crazy. And, you know, they want us to believe that Biden is so far ahead in the polls and that Trump doesn't, he's not going to win. Biden's so far ahead. And yet they seem to be panicking, and that's becoming more and more evident that they are in full-on panic. So I'm just still believing that President Trump has an October surprise to remember. So we're going to be waiting for that. And at least I hope he does have some tricks up his sleeve because he's going to need it, because these people are full-on crazy. Really, I've never seen the likes of it. And I know that, Q has been talking about this for 3 years. And, I became more and more aware, as did all of you, that, yeah, the left is really, really, and it's not just the left. There are some people on the right that are just as corrupt, or maybe more so. But right now, it seems that the left is all up in arms, full on panic, and it's just getting worse. I would have thought that the more that got out there, the more information that was released, and the more people were waking up, that that they would start to be a little bit careful, but no, they are full on panic. So we're going to look at some of that tonight. Anyway, let's get started here. Kevin McCarthy, 75 days ago, Pelosi said Congress would never leave town without a COVID relief deal. Here we are, 25 days before an election, and she finds time for an absurd political stunt, which is all it was. Her priorities are misplaced, and she's making the American people suffer the consequences. Well, again, it has been evident from the start that she doesn't care one whit about the American people or what the American people want or need. She cares about her own political power. And, I think she is the fact that she could be president because she's third in line has gone to her head, really gone to her head. I mean, wouldn't she just think that was wonderful if by some fluke she got in and was president? Oh, I don't think there'd be even any talking to her. Her head would be like this big because she's already got an overblown sense of self-importance. So anyway, let's move on here. This by Unseen One, and this is from, I thought Donald Trump was going to be on Rush yesterday. No, I was wrong. It was today, and I still missed it. So I'm so sorry, but I'm going to be listening to that, the entire thing, because I want to hear it. I hear it was phenomenal. Anyway, so this person was kind of reporting on what was being said on Rush. And so, Rush, please explain why you brag about yourself. And Rush said this to President Trump. Trump responded and said, "Great question. Here is an example. I got nominated for 3 Nobel Peace Prizes. The media never reported on it. If I didn't mention it, no one would know. They do that on everything. If I don't brag, no one would know." Well, he's right. He's right. If he didn't let people know via a tweet or what have you, nobody would know. Nobody would know. And they would make sure that we didn't know. So, yeah. He does have to do that. And down here, actually, I think this one is next. Rush, the media hates Trump because they can't destroy him and they hate his policies. Can you believe Make America Great Again is controversial? Yeah, I would never have thought that was controversial. I never thought the American flag would be controversial. And yet, it is. Trump, remember how big the wall as an issue was? They talked about how we couldn't do it. Now we have 350 plus miles of wall. But have you heard that in the news? Of course you haven't. They don't want to report anything on Trump's successes. Not at all. In fact, they've tried to say, oh, no. Most of that was just replacement for the wall that was there. That is a lie. Did you see the wall that was there? You could walk over it. A child could have walked over it, literally just stepped over it. So now it is massive, very tall, and very hard to get over. Not impossible, but very hard. Anyway, let's go down to the next one. And it says, we'll have 535 miles when finished, talking about the wall. As soon as we won the wall, the media never reported on it again. They don't talk about the illegal immigrant numbers anymore because I solved that. I ended catch and release. The media doesn't report. No, they don't report anything that would reflect favorably on Trump, not ever. And I have, not just myself, but I bet many of you through all this have come to absolutely hate the mainstream media. Now, I hate to even say that I hate people. I don't really hate the people. I hate what they are doing because it is flat out diabolical. Anyway, so the people wanted the wall. The people that wanted the wall are happy, except for some few hardliners. What we've done on immigration is incredible. The media doesn't want to talk about it. Well, of course they don't. Of course they don't. Now, let's go on to the next. And sorry to do this to you, but it's about, Pelosi. Pelosi, we can't do airline help, then lose all leverage to do anything else. Now, Trump has said, bring me a standalone bill for the $1,200 checks, and I'll sign it. I'll sign it today. I'm waiting. He had the pen. He was ready to sign it. But they're not going to do that. They're not going to hand anything to Trump. And Nancy packed it so full of ridiculous items that there's no way the Democrats could approve that Trump could approve it. No way. So he said, look, send me the bill and I'll sign it. But they don't want to do that. They don't want to make Trump seem like he's done something good for the people because, of course, they are working very, very diligently on their new narrative. So, on Thursday's edition of Bloomberg's Balance of Power, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi stated that she wants to provide assistance to airline workers, but we cannot do that and then lose all leverage to do anything else that we have to do in the bill, which is to crush the virus, honor our heroes, put money in the pockets of the American people. Pelosi said on the subject of the airlines, I have made the case to my colleagues that this is a special case because in order for airline employees to return to the workforce, there are national security concerns. There are concerns about certification and all the rest of that, not just somebody leaving a job and coming back to a job, but having to requalify. So I do think that we should pay special attention to that. But we cannot do that and then lose all leverage to do anything else that we have to do in the bill, which is to crush the virus, honor our heroes, put money in the pockets of the American people. Yeah, there she goes. So let's listen to her. I'm not sure how long this is. Oh, it's 12 minutes. My gosh, I would rather dig my eyeballs out with spoons than listen to her for 12 minutes. She looks like a skeleton with a mask with oranges on it, it looks like. Anyway, yeah. Okay, well, let's move on from there. That actually wasn't what I thought it was. And let's look at this. From Bongino, Pennsylvania voters not thrilled with Biden-Harris lies, fracking flip-flop. I hate it when fracking flip-flops. Flip-flop fracking. I guess that's when they frack in their flip-flops? I don't know. But if you're going to frack, why not do it in your flip-flops? All right. Anyway, here we go. Look at these two looking at each other like they love one another when they know they don't, when we know that they don't. I don't know how anyone could. Now, him, I feel a little sorry for. Her, yeah, probably one of the most unlikable political figures in history, next to Hillary, of course. Now, if I could make this, I don't know what is wrong. First day with the new fingers, people. All right. Throughout the presidential campaign, oh, come on, man. There we go. I made it work. Throughout the presidential campaign, culminating in Wednesday's vice presidential debate, both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have consistently flip-flopped and have been caught lying about their positions on fracking. But Pennsylvania, which is one of the toughest battleground states, this election cycle is a state where energy issues are very important, which obviously includes the issue of fracking and natural gas. An anti-fracking stance cannot possibly play well there, and that does not bode well for Biden-Harris ticket, with both having said in the past that they would ban the practice. Yeah. So Joe Biden and Kamala Harris both want to ban fracking, and they do. They have both stated that unequivocally, that they want to ban fracking. All right. And Donald Trump, the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, would absolutely die without the jobs and dollars brought in by fracking. Massive numbers. Now Biden and Harris, after radical left Dem primaries, are trying to change their stance. Pennsylvania wants energy and Second Amendment. Yeah, and the good people of Pennsylvania are not easily fooled. They're not. Joe Biden said, look into my eyes. I guarantee you we're going to end fossil fuels. That includes fracking jobs. Well, let's listen to him, shall we? Because since now they're flip-flopping on it.
But kiddo, I want you to just take a look, okay? You don't have to agree, but I want you to look in my eyes. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel, and I am not going to cooperate.
Yeah, of course he heads for a youngish girl. Why didn't he pick one of the men to look into their eyes? And yeah, well, we know. All right, Biden's website says he supports the Green New Deal, and Harris was a co-sponsor of the Senate's version of the Green New Deal. Yeah, we know where they both stand, even if they lie, because, well, they'll do anything to get elected. Both of them. They're both political, what would you call it? they're political, well, I was going to say prostitutes, but they prostitute themselves for politics, which is exactly what they do. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris don't want you to see their previous statements on how they want to ban fracking. No, they don't.
Joe Biden will not end fracking. He has been very clear about that.
No more, no new fracking.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
We are going to get rid of fossil fuels.
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated.
Joe Biden is the one who, during the Great Recession, was responsible.
Oh my gosh, can you believe that? She has been so vocal against fracking, and then she turns it and says, that Mike Pence wants to ban fracking. Unbelievable. These people have no conscience whatsoever. None. They would murder their grandmother for a nickel. Maybe even less. I don't know. But as Town Hall reports, Pennsylvania voters know where Biden and Harris truly stand, and they are not happy about it. Pennsylvania voters are disappointed that Biden and Harris are lying about their plan to ban fracking. I have seen that she said that she would ban it, and so has Joe Biden. So, yeah, let's look at this.
One topic of conversation that really struck a chord here in Western Pennsylvania is the topic of fracking and the Green New Deal. Just a few miles up the road here, there is a massive Shell cracker plant that has brought thousands of jobs to this area. And this is an issue that really hits home here. I want you to listen to how that part of the debate played with voters I spoke to. Take a listen.
I am a big supporter of drilling for natural gas here. I was really disappointed with Kamala Harris saying that she supported fracking after I have seen that she said that she would ban it, and so has Joe Biden.
He's going to be pushed hard from the far left on his side to end fracking.
Yep. So there you go.
Craig, the Biden campaign has some work to do if they want to convince voters in this area that a Biden presidency would not negatively impact jobs here. Craig?
Well, they don't care about jobs. They don't care about people's jobs at all. I mean, that's evident. They do not care about the American people one iota. They care about themselves. They care about their own power and their own pocketbooks. And anyone that gets rich while they're in office should be investigated. It should not be possible to rack up millions, like $122 million, while earning a civil servant's paycheck. Now, yes, they are paid well, and that's fine. But really, I'd like to know where all this money comes from. Is it insider trading? What is it? Is it bribes? Is it pay-to-play schemes? I think everybody that gets that wealthy in office needs to be investigated. Maybe it's all above board. I doubt it, especially in the case of the Obamas, but it needs to be looked into. Anyway, we all knew that at some point the Democrats wouldn't be able to take their voters for granted forever, and now those chickens have come home to roost. Yes, they have. And they're angry. Those chickens have come home to roost and they're angry. All right. Now, let's go down here. Now, this is very interesting and very telling. Very telling. Because, they'd like us to think that everybody hates Trump and just wants to get him out and everybody's unhappy with America. Isn't that what they're trying to project onto people? Well, Americans, this is by, who is this poll by? I think it's Gallup. It's a Gallup poll. Americans' views on whether they're better or worse off than 4 years ago. Well, now this was in 2020. 56% said that they're better off today than 4 years ago. So who's responsible for that? Then 2012, only 45% of people said that they were better off than they were 4 years ago. And 2004, only 47% said that they're better off than they were 4 years ago. 1992, only 38%, and 1984, only 44%. So in September 2020, 56, the largest number ever since they've been doing these polls, have stated that they're better off now than they were 4 years ago. Now, considering that a lot of these people have been through the coronavirus, you would think that number would be really, really low. You would think they'd say, no, man, we're like way worse off. No, 56% of people say they're better off. Now, what does that tell you? Do you think that, you know, these people that are whining, sniveling malcontents, do you think that they're actually going to report that they're better off under Trump? Of course not. So we got 56%. That's pretty good. Yeah. So, yeah, let's look at this. And I think we should. Man accused in Michigan governor kidnapping plot called Trump a tyrant, made anti-cop comments. Well, that kind of goes against the narrative that it was a white supremacist, doesn't it? Yeah, kind of flies right in the face of that, doesn't it? Speaking of flies on faces. Yeah, that was pretty low to put a fly on Mike Pence, a CGI fly on Pence, nonetheless. Disgusting, these people. They'll stop at nothing. Nothing at all. All right, well, yesterday, 13 people were charged in connection to an alleged plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. I don't know what they would do with her once they kidnapped her. I mean, who'd want her? The alleged plot included plans to overthrow various state governments. 6 received federal charges of conspiracy to kidnap, while 7 others who are associated with a militia called Wolverine Watchmen were charged by the state. The story was quickly and predictably exploited in an attempt to pin the blame for the plot on President Donald Trump. Joe Biden blamed President Trump's dog whistles for the plot, while Whitmer herself said Trump and Republicans gave the green light to the alleged plotters. How would she know that? Unless, yeah, this is like another Jussie Smollett. It is, except it's Gretchen. Yeah, really, I don't think anybody'd want to kidnap her. I'm just saying, I don't know. Anyway, as we learn more about the accused, the more it becomes evident that it must be news to these men that they were inspired by the president. As the New York Post is reporting, video circulating on social media appears to show Brandon Caserta expressing his anti-government and anti-Trump views. Trump is not your friend, dude. Caserta says, it amazes me that people actually believe that when he's shown over and over and over again that he's a tyrant. Every single person that works for government is your enemy, dude. He also ranted about getting robbed by government thugs for some made-up traffic violation after receiving a traffic ticket. Yeah, seems like a real winner. In another video, he's seen with an anarchist flag behind him while he makes anti-police comments. These order followers are not here to protect you, he said of police. Let's listen to this guy just for the fun of it.
Trump is not your friend, dude. And it amazes me that people actually believe that when he's shown over and over and over again that he's a tyrant. Every single person that works for government is your enemy, dude.
Dude. I'm not your dude. All right, and then there's this.
What was happening and they didn't tell you? Can you imagine if you...
Oh, this person. Kamala. And here he is again, but I don't want to hear him again. And despite this, it's still a near guarantee that the majority of the mainstream media will portray this plot as right-wing in nature. Of course they will. I don't know what would happen if they actually reported the news accurately. I think that the earth would tilt off balance and go careening right into the sun. and burn us all. I'm just saying. I mean, what would happen if they actually reported something accurately? Like, what would happen? Would the rivers start to flow backward? I don't know. Would the rain fall up? I don't know. Something might happen. All right, well, there's that, but there's more. All right, and here we go. Yeah, this I'm a little bit concerned about, and I don't understand. Secret. I read that as sweet. Boy, that virus is probably up in my brain there doing havoc. Secret ATF move could turn 3 million to 4 million gun owners into felons. Now, this is from today. It's hot and fresh. President Trump's Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosive, in a move his own son has warned could alienate hardcore supporters, has taken the first step to regulate and tax one of the nation's most popular weapons for plinkers and hunters, the AR pistol. Without notice and citing unexplained concerns about public safety, the Justice Department's ATF has ordered the maker of several popular AR pistols to cease and desist in the production of the top seller, Honey Badger. That's hysterical. Did you ever see the Honey Badger on YouTube? Well, if you haven't, that's what it's referring to, and it's pretty funny. Honey Badger don't care. All right, the order which makes... The order which Maker Q LLC complied with to avoid criminal prosecution has jarred the gun community, and understandably so. This by Representative Matt Gaetz. In June, my colleagues and I sent a letter to the ATF demanding they stop crafting secret rules restricting the possession of pistol braces by American citizens. I sent a follow-up letter yesterday after receiving no response. The ATF must stop abusing its enforcement authority. So while only Q LLC has received a cease and desist letter, most AR makers also produce a version of the shorter barreled Honey Badger pistol. I don't know why that's funny, but it is. Excuse me. And if all of those guns are reclassified to rifles by the ATF, 3 million to 4 million owners could become felons overnight, according to the industry group Gun Owners of America. President Trump needs to do something, said GOA's Alan Rice. This is serious stuff. We're talking about making law-abiding people into felons, he added. The ATF told Secrets that only New Hampshire-based Q LLC's Honey Badger was the target, but a spokeswoman added regarding other firearms or manufacturers, ATF cannot comment until we see the platform and what accessories may be attached to said platform. At issue is the National Firearms Act, a holdover from the Prohibition era and gangland machine gun shootings, and the modern AR pistol. Under the act, rifles with barrels shorter than 16 inches are designated short-barreled rifles and require a federal permit and a $200 tax. Permits can take months to get, making the weapons unpopular. And this says Gun Owners of America, action needed, urged Trump to rein in his wayward ATF, which recklessly reclassified the Honey Badger pistol as an SBR. Tell the president to publicly denounce the ATF's new regulations reclassifying the Honey Badger pistol as an SBR. So I don't know, and I don't know how big an issue this is. Probably some of you gun owners do know. I'm really not all that familiar, and so it's hard for me to comment, and make sense. So I don't really, I do get what the issue is, but I don't understand the full ramifications of this. And so if some of you gun owners and that are gun enthusiasts could comment in the comments below, I would appreciate it, because it would add to my knowledge. Anyway, pistols nearly always with shorter barrels are not subject to the act. Working with those rules, AR makers develop a special arm brace for users to make a short-barreled versions into a pistol, a difference long endorsed by the ATF. Technically, the brace is needed because AR pistols are heavier than normal handguns, are not rifle stocks, standard on the regulated short-barreled rifles. Still, some braces are adjustable and can be used on the shoulder like a stock, and are, by some hunters, a loophole of sorts. What seemed to get Q LLC into trouble with the ATF was its marketing campaign. Most AR pistol makers have posted videos showing their AR pistols being used like rifles. AR rifles are the most popular rifles in the world. The company's lawyer said the decision was a shock and unjustified. Gun owners, notoriously suspicious of the ATF, feel the move was a signal of more to come, especially if Trump loses the election to gun control advocate Joe Biden. Well, yeah, I mean, Trump's the best we have. So, you know, if somebody says, well, I'm not going to vote for Trump because of this, and votes for Joe Biden, well, Joe Biden wants to do away with all guns. All. So, yeah. Anyway, John Velico said the swamp within ATF going after Trump, of course they are. Biden would be good for the business of gun control. Well, yeah, he sure would. And so anyway, I'm not going to read the rest of this because it doesn't apply to all of us. And we do have more to get to, and I bet you want me to get to it. So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, right now. Okay, now this, Julian's Rum says, yesterday, POTUS announced a new COVID cure, and that it would be provided for free by the military to anyone who needs it. Yet no one in the corporate media is talking about it. Well, surprise, surprise. Of course they wouldn't talk about it. They want the big bad virus to scare everybody so they can control them. Yeah, but now he wasn't talking about a vaccine. He was talking about what they used for him. I can't remember the name of it, and he's talking about providing it for free to anyone that needs it. So that is good. All right. And let's look at this. Yeah, we got to come all the way down here. Says Moonbat is still trying to run the 25th Amendment play, but 45 has already fully recovered from COVID. For a party that's supposed to be 14 points up, there's a lot of desperation out there. Oh, yes. And desperation, thy name is Pelosi. Absolutely. Now, let's make this bigger for you tiny phone people. Always thinking of you. Love my tiny phone people. I do.
Come here tomorrow. We're going to be talking about the 25th Amendment.
We don't know the president's physiological health. We don't know what damage may have been done. The real possibility that this is a time that the 25th Amendment needs to be considered.
I mean, David, will they stop at nothing to remove Trump if they could from even the ballot at this point?
I mean, it's insane. I mean, she's literally talking about an emergency measure to try to remove the sitting president of the United States. She was asked about it by a reporter, and she said, I don't want to talk about it right now. I'll tell you tomorrow. I mean, at least it's not after the election like Joe Biden, but I mean, this is foolishness.
No, but for a party that's supposed to be 14 points up in these national polls, they're acting there's a lot of desperation out there.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I like that. I like that name for her, Moonbat. That's appropriate. Well, it is. All right. Now. All right, and this from Courage Mill. Supreme Court nominations during an election year. George Washington did it 3 times. John Adams did it. Thomas Jefferson did it. Abraham Lincoln did it. Ulysses S. Grant did it. Franklin D. Roosevelt did it. Dwight Eisenhower did it. Barack Obama, of course, did it. But they're raising this huge ruckus over President Trump doing it, of course. And they're saying, well, this has never been done before, because they think Americans are too stupid to look it up. You imagine? I'm getting pretty ticked off with these people assuming that we all have the IQ of soap dishes. We're smarter than the people reporting. And that's what Trump said. He said the American people are smarter than the people that are covering the news. And they are. They can see through it. But these people are too stupid to realize it. Unbelievable. Anyway, now I love this analogy. I love it, and you can't make me not love it. So let's take a look at it. If you go to the Southwest desert and catch 100 red fire ants, as well as 100 large black ants, and put them in a jar, at first, nothing will happen. They'll all get along. However, if you violently shake the jar and dump them back on the ground, the ants will fight until they eventually kill each other. The thing is, the red ants think the black ants are the enemy and vice versa, when in reality, the real enemy is the person who shook the jar. This is exactly what's happening in society today. Liberal versus conservative, white versus black, or black versus white, pro-mask versus anti-mask. The real question we need to be asking ourselves is, who's shaking the jar and why? Now, that is very poignant, very, because that is exactly what is happening in America. If you leave us alone, we all get along. You start shaking the jar and we turn on each other, aided, of course, by the narrative spewed out by the wretched media. And they are wretched. All right. Now, let's look at this, which is very interesting, if you ask me. This from LifeSite, which is a Canadian news site, but they have great stuff and they're reliable. Anyway, the Gano deep state has now teamed up with Deep Church to overthrow Trump and usher in the New World Order. Now, I think we're aware of that. The deep state is now moving with Deep Church to transform the Catholic Church into the spiritual arm of the New World Order, the Archbishop said. And I think that's been the plan all along. September 25th, 2020, seeking to find any coherence of the recent action of the Society of Jesus with the original intentions of St. Ignatius of Loyola is an arduous, if not impossible task, to the point that in hindsight, one considers the reconstitution of the order in 1814 after its suppression by Clement the 14th in 1773 to have been ill-advised. Let me see how long this is going to be, because I might just have to leave a link to it. And I think I might. I think I'm going to just leave a link to this. Okay, so it'll be in the first pinned comment, and no, I won't forget. I might, but I'm going to try really hard not to. All right, now let's go back, because I do want to get through this stuff. And let's look at this. All right, yeah, Julian's Rum says, we always knew it was a false flag, but this shite is so blatant, it's effing bizarre to watch. It is bizarre to watch. It's like we've entered bizarro world, and every day I wake up and I think, you know what, wouldn't it be great if today I looked at the news and I was perusing through the news and the world was normal? Wouldn't that be wonderful? I would be delighted if I woke up and I thought, you know what, I don't have anything bad to report on. I guess I'm just going to have to tell everybody good stuff. Wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah, well, I'm not holding my breath. All right, so let's take a look at this. And I know, I hate to torture you.
This should be a moment for national unity, where we all pull together as Americans to meet this challenge head on with the same might and muscle that put a man on the moon. Seeing the humanity in one another and doing our part to help our country get through this. Instead, our head of state has spent the past 7 months denying science, ignoring his own health experts, stoking distrust, fomenting anger, and giving comfort to those who spread fear and hatred and division. Just last week, the President of the United States stood before the American people and refused to condemn white supremacists and hate groups like these two Michigan militia groups. Stand back and stand by, he told them.
He did
Stand
not.
back and stand by. Hate groups heard the president's words not as a rebuke, but as a rallying cry, as a call to action. When our leaders speak, their words matter. They carry weight.
Yours don't.
When our leaders meet with, encourage, or fraternize with domestic terrorists, they legitimize their actions, and they are complicit. When they stoke and contribute to hate speech, they are complicit. In 1981, presidents should...
Yeah, well, Gretchen Whitmer, you are a giant turd in the punch bowl of life. And I can't wait for you to be removed. Won't make the water drinkable, but won't make the punch drinkable, but still, get out of there. All right. I know. All right, let's look at this now. Because my gosh, we should. Twitter locks out former DNI and Ambassador Rick Grinnell over voter fraud warning. Imagine you get locked out of Twitter because you warn about voter fraud. Unbelievable. Now this is from yesterday, but I've kept it fresh. I put saran wrap on it and put it in the fridge overnight. So it's still fresh, still edible. All right. Former acting DNI and ambassador to Germany, Richard Grinnell, was locked out of Twitter on Thursday. Rick Grinnell tweeted a warning about voter fraud. Oh, the nerve! The nerve! Arrest him! Yeah. Oh, that is a lovely car right there. It just popped up over there, and well, you know, sometimes the eye just goes there, but 149,000, I don't think so. All right. Grinnell shared an image of ballots sent to him by a friend living in California who says they were addressed to his parents, who he claimed have been dead for 10 years. Rick Grinnell responded to this suspension on Breitbart. This is my position. If Twitter is going to employ someone who is going to be so concerned about community action and me posting a photo that they're concerned about, their community action focus should be at the Los Angeles County Register of Voters who are sending dead people ballots, people who have been dead for 10 years. Yeah, well, of course, they'll never, address the outrage where it needs to go. No, it's all Richard Grinnell's fault. How dare he warn people about voter fraud? Twitter has now responded back to me to say that you can delete the photo and the tweet and repost it after you black out their address. Well, I'm not doing that because I have permission and they have no right to ask me to do that. Grinnell's friend, Tom Thompson, confirmed this in a tweet. I am the son of John and Gertrude Thompson. Both passed away over 10 years ago and got ballots for the upcoming election. I gave Richard Grinnell permission to post these pictures and ask for an investigation as to why they were mailed ballots for the 2020 election. The tech giants will not allow you to report the truth on their platforms. No, and it's been that way now. Well, my gosh, it started soon after Q. And the censorship has only gotten worse. A lot worse. So here's this guy, and he's saying, I'm, both passed away, and I've given permission, and blah, blah, blah. But that wasn't good enough for Twitter, of course. Why don't they get charged with election tampering? I would like to know why. How is it that they're allowed to exercise such control over elections? I mean, I don't get it. Or Facebook, or Instagram, or whoever. It's unbelievable. Anyway, let's go back. And says, it says, Commission on Presidential Debates, C-SPAN says debate moderator Steve Scully's account was hacked. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. And this person said, who the hell believes this bullshit? And the person below it says, not for a second. He doesn't believe it for a second, and I don't either. And this is Donald Trump Jr., who says, since Steve Scully claims he was hacked, will he allow Twitter to show all logins to his account? If he was hacked, that could be a serious attempt of foreign election intervention. If he won't, if he won't, did he and the commission lie to the American people? Yes, of course they lied to just like Gretchen Whitmer and this whole plot to kidnap her. Oh, please, who wants to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer? Or her little, the deaf interpreter, who is just the most bizarre interpreter I've ever seen. I'm just saying. All right. So, let's look at this. Oi. That's all I can say. Oi. Breaking, Pelosi announces bill to create panel to judge president's capacity to remain in office. Well, okay. Well, I would say that's fair as long as there's a panel to look into her capacity to remain in office. That would be fair, right? Because she is crazier than all of them put together. I'm telling you. She makes crazy people look sane. Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, unveiled her party's plan Friday to create a congressional commission that can evaluate the President of the United States' capacity to remain in office should they fall ill, either physically or mentally. And breaking, Democrats unveil bill creating panel to gauge president's capacity and potentially remove him from office for debility. This is not about President Trump. Oh, right. Oh, and we believe you, Nancy, because you are just so believable. Yeah. Anyway, this is not about President Trump. He will face the judgment of the voters, Pelosi told reporters Friday. The judgment of the voters. Yes, and they'll judge him awesome and vote for him. That's what they're going to judge him. We judge him awesome. Look, that's absurd, absolutely absurd, said Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Again, right here in this last 3 weeks before the election, I think those kinds of wild comments should be largely discounted. Yeah. So there's old Pelosi up to her old tricks. And I'm not sure. This must be from a little bit ago. Feeling good, First Lady Melania Trump updates her COVID condition, says resting at home. That must have been, well, that's from a while ago. So, all right. Well, let's go back. See if we've missed anything. We definitely don't want to do that. All right. Let's look at, oh, this says it's important. So it must be. Why would I say that? And it says, man accused of Gretchen Whitmer's kidnap plot called Trump a tyrant. And Dana Loesch says, but the media told us it was Trump's fault. Well, of course, everything's Trump's fault to the media. That's why you can't listen to the media. Ever. Excuse me. Yes, this upset me more than anything has in probably, anything related to this has in probably close to 3 years. It says, listen to this unhinged maniac openly advocating the prosecution of Supreme Court judges and political opponents and using the kind of language, maggots, not heard since Germany in the 1930s. Listen to this guy. He is unhinged. All right.
Trump can be and must be expunged. The hate he has triggered, the Pandora's box he has opened, they will not be so easily destroyed. So, let us brace ourselves. The task is twofold. The terrorist Trump must be defeated, must be destroyed, must be devoured at the ballot box. And then he and his enablers, and his supporters, and his collaborators, and the Mike Lees, and the William Barrs, and the Sean Hannitys, and the Mike Pences, and the Rudy Giulianis, and the Kyle Rittenhouses, and the Amy Coney Barretts must be prosecuted and convicted and removed from our society while we try to rebuild it, and to rebuild the world Trump has nearly destroyed by turning it over to a virus. Remember it, even as we dream of a return to reality and safety and the country for which our forefathers died, that the fight is not just to win an election, but to win it by enough to chase, at least for a moment, Trump and the maggots off the stage, and then try to clean up what they left. Remember it, even though to remember it means remembering that the fight does not end November 3rd, but in many ways will only begin that day.
Now, I don't know if you've ever seen a dog that is barking and just so like a guard dog or whatever that's just like barking to the point that it's just foam flying from its mouth. That's what I picture when I see him. And what he said, he should be removed from the air. He should, because what he is saying, when you think about it, it is like Nazi Germany. He wants these people not just removed, he wants them removed from society. He wants them gone. He calls them maggots. And Trump, he calls a terrorist. And he says Trump unleashed this virus on the world. Are you kidding me? I mean, Trump must be the most powerful being on the planet. Because look at all he's done. He's ruined the world. He's brought this virus. What is wrong with these people? Now, this guy, I've never seen someone act like that on air, ever in my life, ever. And it's had 2.4 million views. So I would say people are probably outraged by this. Well, I would hope people aren't urging him on. Unbelievable. No, he doesn't say we need them removed. We need to vote him out, which is how you deal with things politically. If you don't like him, vote him out. But the problem is, they know he's not going to be voted out. That's the problem. And they're panicking. Wonder what's in his closet. Yeah. I bet I know. But yeah, this is not acceptable. And it's worrisome. Because if for any reason Trump didn't get in, do you really think that they won't come after Trump supporters? Listen to this guy. He calls us maggots. And we need to be removed from society. What does that mean? Well, I'm sure it would delight him if we died. Delight him. Unbelievable. This is unbelievable. And people, you know, there are people that think I'm crazy because I said the persecution of Christians is coming. And they think I'm nuts. You don't think so? These people hate people that tell the truth and do what's right. They hate them. They hate Americans. They hate the average American citizen. They hate them. Unbelievable. All right. So, I know, I wish I had some more cheery stuff to bring you, but... And let's look at... Oh my gosh, I'm still not done. All right, let's go down here. We looked at this guy. Look at his ears from the big gauges that he wore. I think this is his, what do they call that? Mugshot. But look at, he took the gauges out of his ears, and now he just got whole, like, oh, that's so unattractive. Very unattractive. He'll probably, you know, a lot of these people that wear these huge gauges, they're probably gonna end up having plastic surgery at some point, because who wants to have like hanging ears down to here? I mean, I don't. All right, and here's another piece of ridiculousness. Al Gore suggests military will remove Trump from office if he won't concede on election night. But wait a minute, they're telling us that we won't know on election night. Isn't that what they're telling us? I'm pretty sure that's what they're saying. Well, we won't know who won on election night. But he's saying, yeah, if he won't concede on election night, well, He's not going to concede if he wins, and he will. Gore narrowly lost the 2000 election to Bush, but the results remained in limbo for more than a month. Yeah. So anyway, I don't really care about anything Al Gore has to say. Mr. Climate Change himself, Mr. Global Warming. I don't care what he has to say, and I don't have even an ounce of respect for him. So anyway, now there are people that I respect, people that are not Al Gore. Anyway, and oh yes, we're almost done here. Dan Bongino, when is somebody in the media going to pin Biden down about the Trump tax cuts? Biden says he's going to repeal them, which means middle-class taxes are going up. That's a fact, not an opinion. Yet Biden claims he's not raising middle-class taxes. Both of these things cannot be true. And you're asking a man that has dementia. So he's not ever going to give you a real answer unless he has somebody whispering it in his ear, because he doesn't know. And Stable John Ross says, Rush Limbaugh today very accurately pointed out that during the 2 hours on the air with President Trump, uninterrupted, not once did the president demur, deflect, delay, lose train of thought, or cough. Could Joe Biden do the same? Well, I don't think he could stay awake for 2 hours. We know he couldn't. And here is our last item of the day. OMG, no one is showing up to Biden-Harris events and no one is watching online. Biden-Harris have only 3% of President Trump's online viewership. Oh, but they're worried that Trump won't concede the election to Biden. Give me a break. Okay, so anyway, and again, this is hot and fresh from today. Gateway Pundit, social media patterns show Trump is looking at a landslide victory. Of course he is. Above, in August 2016, we predicted, based on online analysis, that candidate Trump was looking at a landslide victory. He eventually won 306 to 232 in the Electoral College. The 2020 campaign is shaping up to become one of the most lopsided elections in history. The media wants us to believe Biden is ahead in the polls, but President Trump is crushing Biden in events and viewership in person and online. The Democrats and their media continue to force their garbage polls down America's throat, but the reason we know their polls are garbage is by looking at the data. CNN came out with a recent poll showing Joe Biden ahead of President Trump by double digits, but this makes no sense. Democrats and their media are telling us to trust them and not our own two eyes. No, thank you. CNN and other fake news outlets are now pushing fake polls. Well, they did that in 2016, didn't they? They told us what? Hillary had a 98% chance of winning? Yeah, she still hasn't gotten over that. No, she has not. And this is by Ali Hedges Master. Breaking, new CNN poll has Biden leading Trump by 16 points nationally. Right. Yeah, we all believe that, don't we? Yesterday, we reported ample evidence that President Trump is way ahead of former Obama Vice President Joe Biden. And don't believe garbage polls. Trump is crushing Biden in energy, in our rally tally, in boat, car, horse, and buggy parades, and even cookie sales. CNN came out with a poll showing Joe Biden ahead of President Trump by double digits, but this makes no sense. Democrats and their media are telling us to trust them and not our own two eyes. And yeah, we had looked at that before. And let's see if there's... and we've also been keeping a rally tally, which shows President Trump is crushing, just crushing, Biden in supporters' attendance at his campaign events. Well, of course, since Labor Day. And isn't that what we saw with Hillary in the 2016 election? She couldn't pull in crowds. Nobody likes her. Nobody wants her. And yet they were saying, oh, Hillary, 98% chance she's going to win. No, Trump doesn't stand a chance. Everybody's laughing. Oh, there's not going to be a President Trump. So, yeah, and he's, this is despite his recent illness. He's crushing him. So, yeah, to Trump, Trump versus Biden events, Biden, let's see, 334 people. Trump, 251,830 people at his events. So, yeah, I hate to break it to CNN and, you know, the fake news people, but we don't believe you. No. But some may argue that Democrats have pathetic numbers of in-person attendance at Biden events because Democrats don't want to leave their homes due to being dominated by fear of the China coronavirus. Today we have evidence that proves that this is false. The Biden campaign has no energy, period. No one is showing up for their events, and no one is viewing their events online as well. The Biden-Harris campaign is pathetic. There is no excitement for China Joe. Looking at the campaign's most recent event and viewership online provides us another measurement for how well the Trump and Biden campaigns are doing. President Trump's last campaign event was in freezing cold Duluth, Minnesota on September 30th. He had a massive crowd, but he had an even bigger online presence. Bloomberg reported 779,000 viewers of the event on their site. So, yeah. We know that Trump's crushing it. He's crushing it. Even sick, he's crushing it. So, anyway, that, I believe, is it for tonight anyway. And I'll be back, and hopefully not looking like something the cat dragged in, but as you know, I've been sick. I am getting better. The antibiotics are starting to, on very, very strong antibiotics are starting to take effect, but the abscess underneath my tooth actually went into my system and was poisoning me, so that's why I haven't been feeling well for a long time. Anyway, I'm certainly glad that it's being addressed now and that I'm feeling better and starting to get my energy back. So I was hoping I could do 2 shows tonight, but I'm not quite there yet, so just be patient with me. And anyway, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. And if you like the content, consider supporting us on Patreon or Coffee. But never feel obligated. You're always welcome here. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful evening. Stay safe, stay well, stay blessed, and please keep seeking the truth. And I would love it if you'd come back and seek it with me, because, you know, I'm kind of partial to you guys. Anyway, good night.